If Arijit marries a lady chimpanzee, do you think they are going to have kids? They are going to have baby? Why not? What's the problem? Same this is pollen pistil interaction is just like that. Pollen pistil interaction is going to be just like that. Clear? Banana. Musa, mocha. Kire, mocha theke musa? What thakbe? Chal. And that is why, parthenogenesis is a formation of life without fertilization. Example B, male bees. What about this? Parthenocarpic fruit. It's a false fruit na kintu. Kida. Formation of fruit without fertilization. Example, banana. And that is why banana is used is required for every other puja. So basically this is a very, this chapter called the sexual reproduction in flowering plant. Yes. Sexual reproduction in flowering plant. What we have studied so far. Very good. Chalo, we're done. What we have studied so far. We have studied about, just to wrap it up because today is the last class for this chapter. We have studied about sexual reproduction in flowering plant. Flowering plant money, it's an angiosperm. And angiosperms, what is the specialty in angiosperms? They are flowering plants they have got flowers, and the study of flower is called anthology. The opening of flower is called anthesis. Flowers can be classified into two, that is, they are chasmogamous and phanerogamous. Chasmogamous means they have got open flower, and cleistogamous means they have closed flower. Chasmogamous, what is possible? Both cross-pollination and self-pollination, that is, both autogamy and xenogamy is possible. And heterogamy is also possible. But in case of cleistogamous, there is only one possibility called autogamy or self-pollination. Now, then we have classified flower into two. One is called complete flower and one is called incomplete. Complete flower have got all the four holes in the form of calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. And then we have studied about the androecium. Androecium is the male sex part. Andrology is nothing but the study of the male reproductive system. Andrology, we have cut open the anther lobes, and we have seen there are four lobes present inside the diathecus anther. We have classified, we have just seen the section of it, and we have seen there are four lobes. And in the four lobes, the first layer is called epidermis. The second layer is called endothecium. Third layer is called middle layer, and the fourth layer is called tapetum. The first three layers, that is epidermis, endothecium and middle layers, basically they help in what? Protection. And the last layer, which is called tapetum, inside tapetum there is pollen grains present. The function of tapetum is going to provide nourishment to the growing pollen grains. We call the pollen grains as male gametophyte because they contain the male gametes. They contain the... But when the three layers dehisce, burst, the pollen grains comes out, and the pollen grains are destined to reach where? In stigma. Now, the pollen grains, when they dehisce out, they remain in a two-cell stage. 60% of the angiosperm plants, they remain in a two-cell stage. 40% of the angiosperm plants, they burst out at a three-cell stage. Fine. So these pollen grains, they have got two parts. They have got outer exine and inner inine. In time, outer exine are made up of sporopollenin. It's made up of sporopollenin, which is a tough polysaccharide, mucopolysaccharide. And in time, the inner layer of the pollen grain is made up of hemicellulose and pectin, or cellulose and pectin. Now, the place where the exine meets in time, we call that as germ pore. Germ pore. So germ pore is the place where sporopollenin is absent. It's a very, very important question for you. Name the place in the pollen grain where sporopollenin is absent, and that is germ pore. Now, the two-cell stage inside the pollen grain are first generative cell and the one vegetative cell. The generative cell, it divides into two male gametes. By what process? Mitosis or meiosis? Mitosis. So by mitosis, they divide into two male gametes. That means one generative cell divides into two male gametes, and there is another cell called vegetative cell. The vegetative cell starts coming out as pollen tube, and the nucleus is called as the vegetative nucleus or tube nucleus, which starts moving towards the micropyle of the ovule. We have already done this last class. But today, we are going to start from that structure called megasporangium or ovule. Now, the pollen tube, when it starts moving towards the micropyle of the ovule or megasporangium, the vegetative nucleus starts degenerating, and two male gametes starts reaching towards the embryo sac, embryo sac. What is the other term for embryo sac? It is called female gametophyte. It is called female gametophyte. What is the other term for male for pollen grain? It is also called as male gametophyte. Pollen grain is also called as male gametophyte. So let us start from here. What is that? This is embryo sac. This is embryo sac. So last day we have talked about the development of the female gametophyte. We are not going to get into those. These three are called antipodal cells. What are these two? Central cell having polar nuclei. This is called polar nuclei. What is this? Egg cell. This is egg cell. Egg cell. And there are two synergids. There are two synergid. Egg cell plus synergids together is called egg apparatus. It's called egg apparatus. Fine. There is some modifications. There are some modifications or some structures which comes out. Outgrowth of the synergids are called filiform apparatus. Now, see what happens from here is there is an inner integument which comes out like this. There is the outer integument which is like this, and there is this structure. This stalk is called funicle. क्या है इसको? क्या कहते हैं? Funicle. And inside the funicle, just now, if you ask me what is this structure is called raphe, and the raphe provides what? It gives a strength. It gives a strength to the funicle. The place where the funicle joins over here with the outer integument, this particular place is called hilum. I think we have talked about that. Yes. This particular opening of this megasporangium or ovule is called micropyle. This is very, very important one. Micropyle. Just opposite to micropyle, there are structures which are called as chalaza. There are structures called as chalaza. Chalazal opening. Chalaza. Chalaza. Now, see. Closer. Chalaza. Now, outside this embryo sac, what is this? This is embryo sac. What is this? This is embryo sac. What is the other term for embryo sac? The other term for embryo sac is female gametophyte. The other term for embryo sac is female gametophyte. Thank you. Female gametophyte. Clear? Because it contains what? What it contains? It contains ovum. It contains ovum or egg cell. It contains ovum or egg cell. Okay. Now outside this embryo sac, what is present? Ayushi, what is present? Nucellus. What is present? Nucellus. Very, very important for today's class. Nucellus. What it provides? It provides nourishment to the female gametophyte or embryo sac. So nucellus ki provide kore, embryo sac ke nourishment provide kore. It provides nourishment to the embryo sac. Is it clear, Baba? Lastly, we have already covered about how many cell stage are there over here? 7. Embryo sac ke kora cell ache 7 cell. But how many nucleus are there? 8 nucleated stage are there. So how it forms? We have already talked about the development of the female gametophyte. It starts with a cell called archisporial cell. Then by mitosis it makes MMC, megaspore mother cell. And then the megaspore mother cell is going to undergo what? Mitosis. Megaspore mother cell undergoes 2N. So it undergoes meiosis. Meiosis 1 results into 2 cells. Megaspore dyad, NN. Each cell contains NN. And then it shows meiosis 2. It forms 4 cells called megaspore tetrad. And out of these 4 cells, 3 of them degenerates and 1 remains functional. We call that as functional megaspore, having N number of chromosomes. And this megaspore, functional megaspore, undergoes first free nuclear division. And that is called as mitosis. In free nuclear division, what happens? The nucleus is going to divide into 2, but without any cytokinesis. তাহলে কটা সেল হবে? একটা সেলে থাকবে দুটো নিউক্লিয়াস. And fine, one cell having 2 nucleus. And then again free nuclear division number 2. One cell having 4 nucleus. Again free nuclear division number 3. One cell having 8 nucleus. And then what is going to happen after that? Some portion of the cytoplasm and cell wall is going to get formed to form 3 antipodal cell. কি হবে? 3 antipodal cell হবে. These two together makes one central cell, and this is one egg, and these are 2 synergids. Total 7 celled and 8 nucleated stage. বল, এটা ক্লিয়ার ছিল? Now Why we have started off with the same megasporangium? See, tell me the moment a pollen grain falls over here. So this is ovary, this is what? Style, and this is stigma. So the pollen grain falls over here, the pollen tube starts moving towards the micropyle end. We know that. So this is the pollen tube with the two male gamete, N and N. One male gamete fertilizes its egg cell by what process? Syngamy. Syngamy. So, and another cell fertilizes these two secondary nuclei and form what? 10. T-E-N. What is the Ploidy number of 10? 3N. Ploidy number, Rose number of 10 is 3N. Now, pen is formed by triple fusion. And zygote is formed by syngamy. Syngamy plus triple fusion together is called double fertilization. It's called, we have completed this. Now see. On the basis of the direction given, the direction through which the pollen tube is going to enter. If the pollen tube enters through micropyle, we call this as porogamy. We call this as, it's common. So pollen tube normally kote dhukbe? বিয়েবাড়ির গেটে কে ছিল? ফিলিফর্ম অ্যাপারেটাস। কোনের বাবা মা বলেছিল? We have talked about that. কোনের বাবা মা থাকে বিয়েবাড়ির গেটে। কাকে এন্ট্রি দিচ্ছিল? মেল গ্যামেটকে। এবার porogamy, and this is what? Siphonogamy. This is what? Is siphonogamy. Clear? So porogamy is the first way. If the pollen tube moves inside the synergids through micropyle end. What is the second one? The second one is called mesogamy. And the third one is called chalazogamy. Chalazogamy. Bolo. If the point of entry, Ankita, if the point of entry, say this is, okay, Arijit, has a different way of getting into BA. Okay, so land kolo BA chade called Chalaza. So never entered directly through BA gate called micropyle. Chalaza দিয়ে pollen tube ঢুকে গিয়ে আলটিমেটলি কি হলো? ছাদ দিয়ে নেমে উঁকি মেরে ওভামকে দেখে আসলো, এগকে দেখে এসে আবার বিয়েবাড়ির সামনে বাবা মা দাঁড়িয়ে আছে ফিলিফর্ম অ্যাপারেটাস এসে বলল হ্যাঁ বাবা চলে এসছি। বলে বাবা তো আমি ওয়েট করছিলাম রাস্তা দিয়ে, তুই কোথা দিয়ে ঢুকলে? So what is the point of entry? Chalaza. Ultimately কত ঢুকবে? micropyle দিয়ে। But entry was what? Through Chalaza, called chalazogamy. Gamy is what? Marriage. Or gamy means marriage. Got the point? If এবার আর কি যে আরেকটা ওয়ে যে ছাদের থেকে আসবো না, আমি দোতলার জানলা দিয়ে ঢুকবো। See? জানলা দিয়ে ঢুকছে। The point of entry is through integument. Integument দিয়ে যদি ঢোকে যদি আলটিমেটলি আসে কোথা দিয়ে? Micropyle. So if the point of entry is integument, then it is called mesogamy. Integuments, then it is called mesogamy. And porogamy, you know already, it's micropyle. Clear? বইতে নেই তোদের, you asked me, and that's why this is the answer. Clear? Important for NEET. The point of entry of this pollen tube is through Chalaza first, but it cannot straight away get inside the entire sac. ওকে আসতে হবে কোথা দিয়ে? এন্ট্রিটা হয়েছে চালাদা থেকে, বাট পয়েন্ট অফ এন্ট্রি কোথা থেকে? আলটিমেটলি মাইক্রোপাইল থেকেই। বা প্রথম ঢুকেছিল কোথা থেকে? চালাদা। ঢুকতে পেরেছিল কোণের ঘরে? ঢুকতে পেরেছে না? আলটিমেটলি কোথায় ঢুকবে? গেটে। তাহলে সিঁড়ি দিয়ে বেয়ে এসে আবার সবার মাঝখানে ঢুকে আমি চলে এসেছি। বলে বাবা তুমি এখানে কোথা থেকে আসলে? বুঝেছিস না? দুষ্টু হয়েছে? Best example, Arijit. Okay, done? Okay. 3 হলো porogamy, chalazogamy, and mesogamy. Any issues with this? Sure. The next one, let's get into the next one. The next one is about pollination. The next one is about pollination. But before getting into pollination, let us talk about outbreeding device first. ঠিক আছে? Let's get into the outbreeding device. Last day we talked about a bit outbreeding device কাকে বলা হয়. That nature কি চায়? Nature কি চায় cross pollination না self pollination? Nature cross pollination চায়. Nature চায় variation. Nature wants what? Variation. So nature is always going to promote outbreeding and never promote inbreeding. So যদি inbreeding হয়, then there will be inbreeding depression. What is the meaning of inbreeding? What is the meaning of inbreeding? Inbreeding depression. কি হবে? If there is an inbreeding, then there will be depression in what? In the genetic compositions. And ultimately কি হবে? The organism is not going to be able to survive. Is there any problem having, ভাই বোনের মধ্যে বিয়ে হলে বাচ্চা হতে কোনো অসুবিধা আছে? না, কিন্তু বাচ্চারা বাঁচবে কি বাঁচবে না তার উপর প্রশ্ন আছে. Why? No genetic variations. Clear? So in that case কি হবে? আস্তে আস্তে করে inbreeding depression হয়ে যাবে. So nature wants what? Outbreeding, not inbreeding. So how nature has promoted, প্ল্যান্টের মধ্যে কি দিয়েছে? ফার্স্ট প্ল্যান্টের মধ্যে দিয়েছে হচ্ছে self incompatibility. Self incompatibility. So plant self incompatible হয়ে গেল. কি হয়ে গেল? Plant self incompatibility বা self sterility. What is the other term for that? The other term for that is self sterility. Self sterility. So they are going to be incompatible. They are not compatible within themselves. Clear? এই জন্য ভাই বোনের মধ্যে সম্পর্কটা কেমন? একটা চকলেট বাড়ি ঢুকলে ম্যাক্সিমামটা কে নেবে? যদি ভাইয়ের স্ট্রেংথ বেশি থাকে দিদির থেকে বেশি নিয়ে নেবে, চলবে না মারপিট? কম্প্যাটিবল না ইনকম্প্যাটিবল? ইনকম্প্যাটিবল. ভাই বলবে দিদি তোর কবে বিয়ে হবে বাবা, তখন আমি পুরো রাজ করবো. So this is incompatibility. Done. Good. Second is what? Second is unisexuality. Unisexuality. Nature promotes unisexual plants. An example বইতে রয়েছে কিন্তু in your NCERT they have given the examples of this. Clear? Nature promotes unisexual plant. What is the best example of that? Papaya. Male plant, female plant আলাদা. Male plant, female plant are different. Unisexuality. Clear? Unisexuality আর নাম কি? Dicliny. Dicliny. The other term for unisexuality is dicliny. So nature prefers unisexual over bisexual. Bisexual হলে কি চান্সেস হবে? নিজেদের মধ্যে pollination হয়ে যেতে পারে, নিজেদের মধ্যে self pollination হয়ে যেতে পারে. So এই জন্য unisexual flag করে দিল. So unisexual means male plant আলাদা, female plant আলাদা. So what is going to happen? From this plant, the pollen grain is going to fall on other plant stigma. So variation is possible by that way. Clear? এটাকে বলা হয় unisexuality. So nature promotes unisexuality or dicliny. Dicliny. Very good. The third way is very, very important. The third is dichogamy. Di means what? Two. So there are two ways. One is protandry. Protandry. Andry means what? Androecium. Pro মানে first. Proto মানে first. First androecium develops in a bisexual plant. Androecium বড় হয়ে গেল, সে androecium, এটা androecium. Androecium এর বয়স 27 বছর আর বোনের বয়স 3 বছর, বিয়ে হবে। বোনের বয়স 3 বছর, বিয়ে হবে, এখান থেকে pollen যাবে এখানে। তাহলে কি হলো? Pollen release and stigma receptivity are not synchronized. লিখা আছে দেখ, আন্ডারলাইন কর। The pollen release and stigma receptivity is not synchronized. So if the gynoecium, if the androecium develops first, তাহলে ম্যাচিওর হওয়ার টাইমটা ডিফারেন্স হয়ে গেছে এখানে। What has happened over here? The androecium has matured faster than gynoecium. So do you think even if the pollen grain falls over here, there will be any type of fertilization occurring? Never. So ये कहाँ पे जाएगा? दूसरे बैरल पे जाएगा और वहाँ पे क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन होगा. The other thing can be also true. Protogyny. What is proto? First gynoecium got developed. Gynoecium, that is female, দিদির বয়স 22 years, ভাইয়ের বয়স 3 বছর. Can there be marriage? Again, the pollen release and stigma receptivity is not synchronized. Timing a problem হয়ে গেল. but they are bisexual plant. So that is being promoted by nature, and that is called dichogamy. This term is not being given in your book. Try to add this term. Clear? Dichogamy বুঝলাম. So one is protogyny and one is protandry. Yes. Yeah, I told you. Very good. Fourth step is harcogamy. Harcogamy. What is the meaning of the term harcogamy? Harcogamy means mechanical barrier. Mechanical barrier. If there is a mechanical barrier between these two, say the stigma or the gynoecium is totally covered by the petal. Totally covered by the petal. And there is androecium over here. And there is androecium over here. Ball. So there has been a mechanical barrier. There has been a mechanical barrier called harcogamy. Nature is going to promote harcogamy so that there is a chance of always cross pollination. Buझलाम? So this is the way that they have avoided what?
Sir, but इसमें cross pollination कैसे?
Cross pollination कैसे होगा? बाबा ये हाथ से में जाएगा कहाँ पे वहाँ पे?
हाँ, और इसमें like pollen.
Okay, there are other flower where the petal have covered the androecium. Clear? Fifth.
Sir, इसके stigma में कैसे आएगा pollen?
Okay, ये एक flower है जहाँ पे pollen grain नहीं आ पाएगा, और एक flower है जहाँ पे the petal has covered the androecium and stigma is open, is free.
Sir, जब इस flower में pollination नहीं हो पाएगा.
हाँ हो पाएगा. ये सिर्फ pollination होगा. The pollination is going to occur only with the pollen grain is going to fall on the other flower where the stigma is open. Clear? And this is called as harcogamy. This is called harcogamy. Come down to the next one called heterostyly. What is this? Hetero means different. Hetero means what? Different. So if there has been a length difference, say for example the androecium is too long and this is the gynoecium. Clear? Androecium is too long. So अगर ज़्यादा बड़ा है, there is a difference in the length. So what are chances? The pollen grain falling over here is chances more, or by the help of air, it is going to drive away from the flower. It is going to draw away from the flower and it is going to help in cross pollination. So there is a difference in the length of androecium and gynoecium, and that is what is called heterostyly. Heterostyly. So these are 5 main reasons, 5 main steps, 5 main reasons how the 5 main ways how plants can promote cross pollination.
Sir, is it similar to a move?
No. You tell me, what's the difference? Here the difference is about the length. Over there the difference was with the maturity. Androecium matured first, protandry. Gynoecium matured first, protogyny. That was the sense of what? Maturation. Over here both of them are matured. Only the difference is in the length. Clear? बोल बुझेছিস? हाँ बोल.
Sir, number 4 में sir जो like दूसरा pollen grain वो इसके stigma में
नहीं आ पाएगा.
कभी like सारा मिसर
Concept क्या था? Self pollination चाहिए? बस रोक दिया ना? Self pollination रोक दिया. Cross pollination, this is going to reach over there other flower where the petal has covered the androecium, not the gynoecium.
This flower put
Go for self pollination.
cross pollination people.
এখানে এই ফ্লাওয়ারে এখান থেকে যাচ্ছে অন্য প্ল্যান্টে গিয়ে ক্রস পলিনেশন হচ্ছে
এই stigma
না হবে না It's completely covered. It's completely covered. Clear? It's a mechanical barrier. Tell me, Varun, is this clear?
Yes.
Sure. There is another flower where the petals has covered the androecium, not the stigma. So this is going to go to the other flower where there is exposed stigma. Any issues? So these are the 5 main ways how nature promotes cross-pollination. Now come down to this term called pollination. Pollination. So what is pollination? Pollination means what? The transfer of pollen grain. Transfer of pollen grain. Transfer of anther. Transfer of anther. Anthers from Transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma. Pollen grains from anther to the stigma. To the stigma of same or different flower. Same or different flower of same or different plant of same species. Of same species. Sneha, tell me. কি বললাম? Transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of same or different flower. Same হতে পারে, different flower হতে পারে, of same or different plant. But it should always take place between what? Same species. Is this clear? Shromen, বুঝেছিস? Shromen তো? Shromen. বাবা এটা clear? এটা same species. What is common? Same species হতেই হবে. But if we know that the pollination can be classified into 3 types. It can be autogamy, it can be autogamy, geitonogamy, and xenogamy. Now, what is autogamy? In autogamy, the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of same flower of same plant of season bol same species bol বুঝলাম না same and same, then it is autogamy or self pollination. Do you think there is any chance of variation, genetically similar or dissimilar offsprings? Dissimilar, similar, same flower, same plant, same species, they will be having genetically similar offsprings, and that is called as autogamy. Sneha, tell me, geitonogamy তে কি হবে? In geitonogamy, what is possible? In geitonogamy, what is possible? What is possible in geitonogamy? Different flower, the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of different flower, tell me then, of same plant body একটাই, of same species. Different flower of same plant of same species. একটা গাছ তার দুটো ফ্লাওয়ার আছে, এখান থেকে from here the anther reaches over here, the pollen grains is going to reach over here in the stigma of the same flower, same plant. Different flower of the same plant of the same species, genetically similar or dissimilar offsprings. Genetically similar. It is looking like what, Sijan? It is looking like what? Cross pollination, but actually it is not. Why? Because it is going to give rise to genetically similar offsprings. Genetically similar offsprings. বল বুঝলাম না অরিজিন বল xenogamy. What is xenogamy?
Transfer of pollen grains from another
Anther to the stigma of the different flower of the different plant. That different flower of different plant of different flower of different plant of the same species, then it is called xenogamy, which is called the xenogamy is called cross pollination. Actually the xenogamy is called cross pollination. Ke bolbi, what is the meaning of the term xeno? Say Arijit is having fear out of xeno, foreign. Fear out of foreigners is called xenophobia. Clear? So xeno means what? Foreign cross pollination. This is perfect cross pollination. Cross pollination ki hobe? The process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of different flower of different plants, but of same species. This is actually giving rise to what? Sijan, tell me. Genetically different offsprings, genetically different organisms, and this is what the nature wants. Nature wants xenogamy. বুঝলাম না. Is this clear? Ankita, tell me. Any problem? Got an idea what is called? Now see, there are some different pollinating agents. What are the different types of pollinating agents? The different types of pollinating agents. Number one, what is there in your book? Anemophily. Philly means what? Pollination. Animo means wind. So wind pollinated is called anemophily. Wind pollinated is called anemophily. Wind pollinated is called anemophily. Now there is an adaptation of the. What are the changes which should be there in wind pollinated? I should tell me. The stigma should be sticky or non-sticky, feathery or non-feathery. Feathery. The anther, the pollen grain should be lighter or having much of weight. Lighter. They should be having wings or no wings. Wings or bhalo hoy. What is wings? Wings means what? You have seen many of the, grass family. You have seen some of them. They are very lightweight. Fine, and they are going to fly and drop where on the stigma of different other flowers. So this is anemophily. Wind pollination is called anemophily. What is the example? Example is grass family. Grass family. Tell me some of the examples of them. Oxalis, Amaranthus, Cynodon dactylon. This is the scientific name of doob grass. Doob grass. Kire doob grass kache bola hoy? Dubbo. Kire Ajit? Jamudine. Dubbo. Cynodon dactylon. We have talked about this in class 11. So these are the grass family. Every other grass family, what you can say is anemophily. That is wind pollination. Clear? So the transfer is going to take place by the help of wind. By the help of wind. Clear?
Yes.
The second one is called hydrophily. Very, very common. It's been given in your book. Hydrophily. What is the meaning of the term hydro? It's water. Phily is pollination. Tell me the modifications. I wish you tell me. What are the modifications? What should be the modification in water pollinated one? The anther. The pollen grains, they should be jacketed or non-jacketed. Jacketed. They should be jacketed. And what should be the nature of the stigma? Non-sticky. Non-sticky? Non-sticky. And what about them? They should be also jacketed. They should be also hydrophily. Example of them. What is being given in your book? Vallisneria, hydrilla. Vallisneria, hydrilla is there in the second paragraph. Hydrilla and Vallisneria. Clear? Can you see this example called Jostera? Jostera is wind pollinated or what? Yes, it's a seagrass such as Jostera, but it is a freshwater and freshwater is what? These two are freshwater. What is Jostera? What is Jostera? They are marine seagrass. They are marine seagrasses. Marine seagrass. These two are freshwater. Vallisneria, hydrilla are freshwater plants. Any issues? So the adaptation which is there for promotion of anemophily and water pollination.
सर हाइड्रोफिली में सर जो पॉलिन ग्रेन है वो सिग्मा में कैसे जाएगा?
Through water?
वो वाटर से तो कोई नहीं क्या बोलते हैं स्टिग्मा लाइक दैट में फ्लैट बॉडी में कैसे जाता है?
Plant body में? क्यों?
सिग्मा में पॉलिनेशन में
ऐसे through water? Both of them are there inside water. Think about water lily. Water lily में the flower is above water. So what happens in water lily? Wind pollinated or water pollinated? ऐसा जाएगा वो? No. So it's a wind pollinated. So those plant body which are submerged. What is that? Okay. Clear? Sure. Jostera, marine seagrass, hydrophily. Tell me the next one. The next one is, say, ornithophily. What is the meaning of this? Pollination by the help of birds. Pollination by the help of birds is ornithophily. Pollination by the help of insects. Entomophily. It's a very common one. The study of insect is called entomology. The study of bird is called ornithology. Tell me the bird man of India. Dr. Salim Ali. Very good. Fine. Ornithology. The study of bird is called ornithology. Ornithophily means the pollination by the help of birds. Entomophily. Now, Ritam, you tell me. Tell me the modifications that a plant should have to promote entomophily. Petalta dekhte kemon hobe? Light colored, vibrant colored, deep colored, fine, dark colored, or there should be vibrant colored. Number one. The flower should be giving floral reward to the insect in the form of what? Flower ki dorkar? Flower, the plant should be giving floral reward. What is the floral reward? Nectar, good. Nectar debe okay. In turn ki chaibe? Pollination. Clear? Now, এখানে একটা গল্প আছে. There is an example being given in your book in the form of yucca plant. See the last paragraph of this same page you are watching right now. Yucca plant and Pronuba moth. The name of the moth is not being given, only they have said about a moth, and the name of the moth is Pronuba moth. Page number 12. Sorry, page number 14, last paragraph. Page number 14, last paragraph. Yucca plant and Pronuba moth. The last paragraph. What is being written? See, in class 11, we have already dissected this particular hibiscus. That is China rose. How many carpels they have got? Pentacarpellary. This is hibiscus rosa sinensis. Hibiscus rosa sinensis. The scientific name of China rose. Okay. So how many carpels? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we call it as pentacarpellary. We call it as pentacarpels. So how many carpels they have? 5. Pasta. And they are joined in one point. They are joined in one point. They are fused over here. So we call them as syncarpus. We call them as syn matlab fused. So fused carpels. And if we cut the section of this ovary, we are seeing placenta. How many chambers are there? 5 chambers. And within these chambers, at the base of these chambers, we have seen ovules present. We have seen ovules present. How many chambers? And these chambers are called locules. So we call them as pentalocular. We call them as pentalocular. Remember? So pentacarpellary, syncarpus, pentalocular. But in your book, what was present? How many family you have studied in that chapter? Morphology of flowering plant, family Solanaceae, family Fabaceae, and family Liliaceae. In the older book, these 3 families were there. New book ki ache shudhumatro Solanaceae is there. Now see, think about it. These are locules. So this locules, what kind of placentation is this? Ke bolbe? Axial placentation. What kind of placentation? How many placenta? On the basis of their arrangement of ovules inside ovary, we call this as placentation. So what is placentation? The arrangement of ovules inside ovary is called placentation. And we have studied 5 different types of placentation in class 11. Durga, tell me. Axial, marginal, basal, parietal, free central. Kire, bhule geli? Yes. So now let's get into the locule. In this locule, there is a gap where Pronuba moth can lay eggs. In the yucca plant, Pronuba moth can lay eggs. So laying eggs, the position for laying eggs is called oviposition. Ovi mane egg. Oviparous, egg laying animals. Oviparous. Oviposition mane ডিম পাড়ার জায়গা. If they are finding the locule as the best place for laying eggs. So Pronuba moth starts moving through the opening of the flower. And what is the flower called? The flower of this yucca plant is called Amorphophallus. Can you see that? It is the largest flower. It's not largest, longest flower or tallest flower. It is having the tallest flower. Tell me the size of it. 6 feet. So very important. And the locule of this, inside the locule of this flower, this Pronuba moth gets inside to lay eggs. During the act, by default, it helps in what? Pollination. This is insect pollination. So both of them, Ankita, both of yucca plant and Pronuba moth, both of them are mutually being benefited. Plus. Both of them are mutually being benefited. What is this relationship called? Mutualism. What is this relationship called? Mutualism or symbiosis. Mutualism. Mutualism. Or we can also call it as symbiosis. Get into the chapter called Organism and Population. Organism and Population. Old book, page 232. New book. 192, something like that. See? Great. Great. 192. Get into that. No. Next. Page 197. Page 197. Page 197. Find out plus in the table. Get into the table and find out the plus. What is that called? Mutualism, where both of them are mutually being benefited. Say for example, পরীক্ষার হলে রিতম আর অরিজিৎ কাছাকাছি পড়েছে and they had a treaty. অরিজিৎ বলছে I'm going to help you in biology, you help in physics. You help me in physics. And অরিজিৎ biology দেখানোর পরে রিতম physics দেখাচ্ছে না. This is mutualism or what? Clear? ধর এইটা কি অরিজিৎ মারা যাবে এটাতে? This is not mutualism then. Clear? Mutualism means obligatory, strictly. I think I have talked about this in class 11 also. Mutualism মানে they have strict relationship. একজন অন্যজনকে হেল্প না করলে আরেকজন মারা যাবে. So think about it. Pronuva moth is the only moth by which the yucca plant is being pollinated. Yucca plant pollination না হলে yucca plant এর next generation আসবে? Yes. That's not required. Only see about mutualism. Plus. Species A and species B. Oh, you're talking about why there's plus minus. Think about plus minus is this relationship. He got the help and he stopped helping him in physics. Plus minus. মানে একজন benefited, একজন non-benefited. And that can happen in parasitism. See? Ascaris inside your intestine is getting the benefits. Baba, আমরা ওদিকে যাচ্ছি না. Let's get into mutualism. What is mutualism? When the relationship is strict or non-obligatory. Obligatory, strict relationship. And there are many of the examples of that. Lichens, algae and fungi, association, mycobiont and phycobiont. We have studied in. Then root nodules. In the root nodules of pea plant, what is present? Rhizobium leguminosarum. Clear? They fix atmospheric nitrogen. Think about pinus and mycorrhiza. The roots of pinus and mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is present inside the roots of, not on the roots of pinus. They provide what? Mycorrhiza helps in, they can increase the surface area. And also they help in what? Absorption of phosphorus. Mycorrhiza helps in absorption of phosphorus. Take out the page of class 12, page number 157 or 158, I think 158. Microbes as biofertilizer. Second paragraph, third line. Phosphorus. Mycorrhiza helps in absorption of phosphorus. Yes. Clear? Rashni? Ayushi? কোথায়? ওই তো মাইক্রোরহিজা দেখতে পাচ্ছিস। তার থার্ড লাইন দেখ, ফসফরাস আছে। They help in absorption of phosphorus. Clear? Baba, এগুলো কি? These are the examples of what? C-square, cycas and corallide root. The cycas, they have got blue green algae in their corallide root. Blue green algae in their roots. What is the function of blue green algae? They help in fixing atmospheric nitrogen. কি বলবো রে? কি সম্পর্কে বলবো কি? Strict, obligatory. হয়েছে? So let's get back. So Baba, এই ছিল entomophily. This is about entomophily. Insect pollination. আচ্ছা next আর কি আছে? Next pollination can be by the help of bats. কে বলবেন? Bats দিয়ে pollination. Chiropterophily. Pollination by the help of mollusk or snail. Malacophily. Mollusk or snail. Malacophily. Pollination by the help of ants. Myrmecophily. Myrmecophily. Pollination by the help of human. Arijit pollination করে দিল, বল কি হবে? Anthropophily. Anthropophily. Pollination by the help of elephant. Elephophily. 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 Tell me the example. World's largest flower is pollinated by world's largest animal on land. Rafflesia arnoldi is the world's largest flower. কত সাইজের? Diameter কত? Largest flower. The diameter is 6 feet. Think about it. Largest flower is pollinated by elephant. Okay, বাবা এই মোটামুটি ছিল. So this was about pollinating agents. This was about আচ্ছা snake ঢুকিয়ে দে, snakes. Pollination by the help of snakes কি হবে? Ophiophily. Pollination by the help of snakes is ophiophily. Ophio means what? Snake. Example. Santalum album. Example. Santalum album. Santalum album. Album. There is sandalwood. Chandan. Sandalwood. Yes? Clear? Baba, এটা clear? So next is about pollen pistil interaction. Pollen pistil interaction. After outbreeding device, there is pollen pistil interaction. Same type of species of pollen is going to fall on the pistil and there should be interaction. Otherwise, কি হতে পারে? Hybridization হতে পারে. And this is not going to happen. If Arijit marries a lady chimpanzee, do you think they are going to have kids? They are going to have baby? Why not? What's the problem? Same this is Horda. Pollen pistil interaction is just like that. Pollen pistil interaction is going to be just like that. Clear? Hi, Rani. Good. Okay. So what like so same type of this should be compatibility, Baba. Right? Same type of pollen grain should fall on the same species of what? Pistil. So there will be interaction. There will be molecular level interaction. And then only there is going to be development of the pollen tube towards what? Towards ovule. Clear? This is about pollen pistil interaction. Come down to the next one. And that is artificial hybridization. Artificial hybridization. Artificial hybridization. Say Arijit wants to make hybridization. So what he's going to do with the bisexual flower is that এটা gynoecium রয়েছে and there is the androecium. So what he needs to do is he's going to take out the male gender by the help of forceps. ওখানে কেটে নেবে. He's going to remove this androecium. He's going to remove this androecium. And removal of this androecium. The removal of this androecium is called emasculation. Underline কর বইতে কোথায় লেখা আছে এটা? Emasculation. E means taking out the masculine gender. So from a bisexual flower, he's going to take out all the androecium, this stigma, and then he's going to come up with the best type of pollen grains and he's going to allow the pollen grains fall over here. Who is going to do this? Arijit. Anthropophily. Anthropophily. Are you going to start decide করুন স্যার আগেরটা না এখন? এর আগে এক্সাম্পল দিয়েছিলেন ওইটা চলবে না এটা চলবে? দুটোই চলবে. Okay. Now, pollen grains. So this pollen grains is the moment pollen grains এখানে add করলো, now he has to stop contamination, he has to make a bag. He's going to put a bag over it called bagging. The second step is what? The second step is bagging. Underline the term bagging. Sneha, why bagging is being done? To stop contamination. অন্য কোনো pollen grain এসে আসতে পারে এখানটায়. To stop contamination, bagging has been done. So two steps of artificial hybridization. Number one, emasculation. Number two, bagging. এবার বলবে দুর্বা what you want? Species A, not species A. It's a related organism, related plant of the same species. Now, one particular plant is having high yield, and another plant is having high disease resistance. Clear? High disease resistance. So what a farmer is going to want for what kind of characters? Both the best characters. High yield as well as high disease resistant. But what is also possible, Sneha? What is also possible in this hybridization technique? What is also possible? The lower category, the characters like low yield and less disease resistance तो চলে আসতে পারে তো একটা প্ল্যান্টের মধ্যে। Barun, tell me, this can happen only by one particular process, and there was a law by Mendel, and the second law of Mendel says law of segregation of characters. So barbar যদি hybridization করিস, every time do you think you are going to get these two best results, or you can also have a combination of these two? Due to what? Mendelian second law called law of segregation of gametes, or segregation of characters, or which is also called as law of purity of gametes, and this is what is called the second law of by Mendel. বুঝেছিস? এইটাকে স্টপ করার জন্য, so these are two steps by which you can go for hybridization. To stop the bad qualities to come over here, you have to go for apomixis. You have to go for apomixis. And what is apomixis? Go to the last page of this chapter. Apomixis and polyembryony. Apomixis and polyembryony. What is apomixis? It is nothing but the formation of a seed. The formation of seed without fertilization. The formation of seed without fertilization. Which is the formation of seed without fertilization. So you are making, say, একবার hybrid, once you have made the hybrid seeds, তাহলে কি করলো? অরিজিৎ হাইব্রিড সিডস তৈরি করলো with the bestest of the characters. কি কি জানো ছিল? High yield and high disease resistant. Once he gets this, এই সিডটাকে নিয়ে কি করবে ও? এই সিডটাকে নিয়ে, this seed he is going to go for apomixis to stop the Mendelian second law to act upon it. তাহলে কি হবে না? क्या नहीं होगा अंकिता? बैड कैरेक्टर नहीं आने वाला है, सेम कैरेक्टर बार बार आएगा ड्यू टू apomixis. So you have to make this seed apomictic seed. Once you get the best quality, you need not to go for hybridization. So next question, why apomictic seeds are advantageous over hybrid seeds? Go to the last paragraph of this chapter. Hybrid seeds, last paragraph of this chapter. Why apomictic seeds are advantageous over hybrid seeds? বল কি হবে? First, hybrid seeds are costly. Hybrid seeds. Second, you have to make hybrid seeds year after year. Every year you have to make. Year after year you have to make the hybrid seeds. You cannot keep them for long. Every year you have to make hybrid seeds. That is going to make it costlier. Third problem is there is every chance of what? Segregation of character. That every কি করতে হবে? You have to depend upon apomictic seeds. Any issues with this? বল, বুঝেছিস? আদ্রিয়ান, এই তিনটে প্রমাণ লেখা আছে বইয়ে দে, বের কর। Online the 3 points written in your book. Yes, costly. Year after year, I can see that. You have to make the clear.
Sir, can you explain more about apomictic seed?
What about
Apomictic seed.
apomictic seeds? Babu, formation of apomictic seeds are what? The formation of seed without fertilization. You are making the seed without fertilization. Once you make this hybrid seed and then you just make a clone of it, You make a clone of it. Say for example, you have got the basis of the batsman in the form of Vaibhav Suryavanshi, and you want all the 11 players as Vaibhav only. What do you have to make? What do you have to make? Clone of it. Very good. So in cloning, are you going to get different qualities? Though skill is not there in the gene. There is, what is there in the gene? The dedication level. Huh? Very good. Clear? How many times you have seen? जो ग्रेट हैं उनका बच्चे भी ग्रेट होते हैं? Tell me the reason. The process of getting into success, they have not followed. उनके बच्चे फॉलो करेंगे? Same person giving me a call?
C person.
Sandesh.
Okay. Is this clear? This is very common question for your board exam. Why apomictic seeds are haven't? Same person?
Same.
Different? Okay, chalo, very good. Next key that. Polyembryony. Next is what? Polyembryony. Can you see this term called polyembryony? Polyembryony. Durba ball. What happens to this ovule after fertilization? What happens to this ovule after fertilization? It changes into seed. It changes into seed. So the ovule after fertilization becomes seed. The ovary after fertilization becomes fruit. So a fruit which develops directly from ovary is called true fruit or false fruit? True fruit. True fruit. So the fruit which develops directly from the ovary is called true fruit. If a fruit is developed from any other part other than ovary, we call them as? Example? Apple, strawberry, cashew. Apple, strawberry, cashew. Clear? If a fruit is developed from any other part other than ovary, কোনটারে other than ovary কি হতে পারে? থ্যালামাস হতে পারে। তো থ্যালামাস থেকে যদি ফ্রুট তৈরি হয়, then this is apple. So apple কি খাই আমরা? থ্যালামাস খাই। Clear? So apple is a false fruit. One apple a day keeps doctor away is a false fruit. What a scam. Sneha, clear? What are the examples I've talked about? Strawberry and? Mind you, this page, এই পেজটা বললাম আজকে পড়ালাম আমি ক্র্যাশ কোর্সে। Come on, this page, that diagram, very very important for your NEET examination. Copy paste question আসবে, yes. Clear? And there's another fruit called parthenocarpic fruit. Adrian বলবে parthenocarpic. Carpic means what? Carp means fruit. Partheno means virgin. That means formation of fruit without fertilization is called parthenocarpic fruit. Example? Banana. Example, banana. Tell me, Musa paradiasica is a scientific name of banana. Musa paradiasica, scientific name of banana. Musa, mocha. Kire, mocha theke Musa? What থাকবে? Sure. And that is why, parthenogenesis is a formation of life without fertilization. Example B. Male bees. What about this parthenocarpic fruit? It's a false fruit na kintu. Kida. Formation of fruit without fertilization. Example banana. And that is why banana is used in is required for every other puja. So basically this is a very, দরকার নেই আমাদের আলোচনা করা এখানে। Partheno means it's a complete scam. কোনটা? পুজোতে ভার্জিন চাই, কুমারী পুজো, কুমারী মেয়েটি কে নিয়ে পুজো করা হলো, বিয়ে হয়ে যাওয়ার পর কি হয়ে গেল? ও কি পরি হয়ে গেল? ওই পরি না, ভূতি পরি, রাক্ষসী হয়ে গেল। সো ভার্জিন ইজ আ বড় স্ক্যাম। বাদ দে বাবা, পলিএমনি বুঝলাম না, পলিনো বুঝলাম না। এবার বুঝ, ovule changes into seed, ovary changes into fruit. What happens to this inner integument? The inner integument, come on, the inner integument after fertilization it becomes what? এটা ছোলা দেখ, ছোলাতে এরকম একটা পোর আছে এখানে। This pore is called micropyle. This pore is called micropyle. It is through this pore that the oxygen and water gets inside. There is a scar over here called hilum. This scar is called hilum. What is hilum? You know, the portion of the megasporangium where the ovule touches the outer integument. And this is a scar. And see, the outer covering of this particular seed is called testa. It's called. So what is testa? The testa is nothing but the outer integument changes into testa. The outer integument changes into testa of the seed. The inner integument, this becomes tegmen. The inner integument becomes tegmen. Is this clear? Very, very important. Post-fertilization event, these are things which happens. Now, the most important thing from here is, what do we know about zygote? We know that double fertilization helps in. We know that the double fertilization are two types. You know, one is syngamy, other one is triple fusion. Syngamy and triple fusion. Syngamy, one male gamete fertilizes the egg. One male gamete fertilizes the egg and forms what? 2N zygote. 2N zygote. This zygote later on changes into embryo. And what happens in triple fusion? One male gamete fertilizes two polar nuclei, N, and by the process of that, it makes 3N called 10 primary endosperm nucleus. Now, who discovered this double fertilization? Navashin discovered double fertilization. Navashin. Now think about it. This embryo, say this is the seed. This is the embryo. This is the seed. And this is the embryo. From this embryo, what is the structure which opens up, which comes up? It's the plumule. What is this? This is plumule. Plumule. Ultimately, it's going to form into what? Shoot. And what is the structure? Radical. Radical থেকে কি তৈরি হবে? Root. And this is the embryo. And what is the structure which provides nourishment to the growing embryo? Come on. Endosperm. What is that? Endosperm. I think last day we have talked about, if a seed contains endosperm, then those seeds will be called as albuminous or endospermic seed. Albuminous or endospermic seed. Example, wheat, maize, barley. And in some of the seeds, the endosperm completely gets what? Utilized or is completely utilized. We are going to call it as X-albuminous seed. Get into the topic called seed. Next page. Seed. Good, seed. Yeah. What is the example of non-endospermic seed? Non-endospermic seed example that দুটো দিয়েছে. Pea and groundnut. Pea, you know. Groundnut, tell me the scientific name. Arachis hypogea. Arachis hypogea is the scientific name of Arachis hypogea is the scientific name of groundnut. Arachis hypogea is the scientific name of groundnut. Any issues? Come on. Non-endospermic or endospermic? Non-endospermic. X-albuminous or albuminous? X-albuminous. Which it? Go. Next to that. That. Hello? Next. Babu, in class 11 we have studied about some of the hormones which can help in making a seed dormant. Tell me the name of the hormone. Very good. Abscisic acid. It is called as the stress hormone and it has also got a role of what? Making the seed dormant. Dormant মানে কি? Active or inactive? Germinate করতে help করবে না? করতে দেবে না? Tell me the opposite of it. Now if you want to break the dormancy, name the hormone which is going to break the seed dormancy. Gibberellic acid, GA3. Gibberellic acid. Now, in Arctic tundra, second last page, in Arctic tundra, second last page of this chapter, there is a plant called Lupinus arcticus. Excavated some 10,000 years ago. Sorry, not ago. 10,000 years, this particular seed was, it remained inside this particular region called Arctic tundra, and it has been excavated and given all the favorable conditions, it is going to again start germinating. It started off germinating. This is called Lupinus articus. This is the best example found where from Arctic tundra. There is another example of date palm. Fine. The name of the plant is Phoenix dactylifera. Dactylifera. From it was excavated from Dead Sea, near to the Dead Sea, Israel. Dead Sea. Why it is called Dead Sea? Because there is no life in the sea. Because the percent of saline is 27%, which is in normal sea or ocean you get 3% of salinity. You get 27% of salinity in Dead Sea. You cannot expect any life over there. Clear? Just close to that. 2000 years, you can see underline that term. 2000 years old seed was excavated from this Israel Dead Sea. The name of that plant is Phoenix dactylifera. Baba, clear? Any issues? Align করেছিস তুই? আচ্ছা, next, what is left? Yeah, finish that. Phoenix.
No.
King Herod's Palace. Is the place. King Herod's Palace. Now, zygote is going to lead into formation of what? Embryo. So in embryo, it's going to form into what? Get into the page. Page number 18. After double fertilization, see the diagram. This is zygote having 2n number of chromosomes. It divides into 2 cells and then is going to divide and ultimately form a globular embryo. You can see there are many cells and it's a globular embryo. What is the meaning of the globular? Globular embryo. And this globular embryo, what is going to happen is has been a incision over here and it makes a heart-shaped embryo. It becomes a heart-shaped embryo. See the modifications. And this particular point is now called as plumule. And these two have become cotyledons. See in the figure. Clear? This structure is called plumule. What is the stalk called? The stalk is called hypocotyle. What is the stalk called? Hypocotyle. At the base, what you can see is the radicle, which will form into root. So this is hypocotyle, and this is the plumule which is going to ultimately form into shoot, and this is the radicle which is going to help in the growth of the root. So how many cotyledons it is having? 2 cotyledons. How many cotyledons? So this is called dicot. In case of monocot, see the diagram. In case of monocot, you can see a structure called coleoptile and coleorhiza. Fine. This is a structure with one scutellum. This is a structure called scutellum. And this is the structure. This structure is called coleorhiza, which is going to ultimately form into what? Root. And this is coleoptile. It is going to help in the formation of shoot. And there is one structure called scutellum. This is called monocot. This is called monocotyledon embryo. See the figure. Page number 19. You can see that. Clear? That was about embryo. Clear? There is an axis called embryonal axis. You can just go through that. Clear? That's all about this chapter. Great. What is this structure? You can see the structure. Epiblast is present where? Which part? Epi means what? Epi means, see the figure. Epiblast. What is the structure? Epiblast. Can you see the structure? It helps in the formation of what? There's some structure in case of wheat, in case of maize. You can see there is a structure, leafy-like structure, which falls off. Remember, in class 11, we have talked about bulliform cells or motor cells. What is the function of bulliform cells? It makes the leaves droop down. So if it droops down, normally in case of monocotyledon leaves, they have got amphistomatic. Both the sides of the leaf, they have got stomata. যদি এটা এরকমই থাকতো the stomata open থাকতো আর ট্রান্সপিরেশন করে বেরিয়ে যেত to stop transpiration. If it droops down, this is the part which is lighted region, this is the shady region. The motor cells or bulliform cells helps the leaf to droop down. Maize যখন দেখিস তখন কি করে ওটা droop করে যায় না? One of the structure of this epiblast is just a structure which is going to help in formation of this leafy structures, epiblast. Clear? With this, we can say that we have successfully completed this chapter. Next coming Thursday, you're going to sit for the test. Whole chapter. Clear? Whole chapter? Last day test কি ছিল questions? করেছিলি তো? করেছিলি না last day test?
Yes.
Development of female gametophyte, I think we have covered. Huh? Development of female gametophyte test ছিল? So, the rest part আজকে যা পড়ালাম এর উপরে test on Thursday. ঠিক আছে? Any questions you can ask me? Any questions? চল আমি কোশ্চেন করি তোকে জলদি ফাস্ট 2 মিনিট অঙ্কিতা ক্লোজ ইউর বুক চল ক্লোজ ইউর বুক Name the structure which guides the pollen tube to enter. Filiform apparatus. Egg. What is egg apparatus? Egg cell plus 2 synergids. Fine. What is the other term for embryo sac? What is the other term for tapetum in female? Nucellus. Nucellus. How many layers are there in the outer coating of the microsporangium?
4.
Tell me the name of it. Epidermis, endothecium, middle layer and tapetum. Sometimes tapetum is having 1-celled, 2-celled, 3-celled. Tell me, which one right? 2-cell also in tapetum. It's not 2-cell, 2 nucleated. 2 nucleated, double nucleated. Clear? Okay. How many mitosis and meiosis are required for the development of embryo sac? 1 meiotic and 3 mitotic. 1 meiotic and 3 mitotic divisions. Good. If the chromosome number of a plant is, if the chromosome number 2n, diploid chromosome number of a plant is 36, what is the chromosome number of pen? 54. Very good. Very good. 2n is to 36, n is 18. 18 3 here. Clear? Sure. That's it for now. Sure.